What caused the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79, and how did it impact the surrounding area, including the ancient city of Pompeii? Mount Vesuvius erupted on August 24, AD 79, after a long period of dormancy. The eruption was caused by a violent release of gas and ash that had been building up in the volcano for centuries. The initial eruption was followed by a series of pyroclastic flows, which were fast-moving clouds of hot gas, ash, and debris that traveled down the slopes of the volcano at high speeds, engulfing the surrounding area. The ancient city of Pompeii was located just 6 miles from Mount Vesuvius, and was one of the many towns and villages that were impacted by the eruption. The first phase of the eruption was relatively mild, with ash and pumice raining down on Pompeii and other nearby settlements. However, as the eruption continued, the pyroclastic flows and volcanic ash became increasingly intense, burying the city and its inhabitants under a thick layer of debris. The impact of the eruption was catastrophic, with an estimated 16,000 people killed and many more injured or displaced. The city of Pompeii was buried under several feet of ash and pumice, and remained buried and forgotten for nearly 1,700 years until its rediscovery in the late 1700s. Today, the site of Pompeii is one of the most important archaeological sites in the world, offering a glimpse into the daily life and culture of ancient Rome before the disaster. What was daily life like in Pompeii before the eruption, and how did the disaster change the city forever? Daily life in Pompeii before the eruption was similar to that of other ancient Roman cities. The city was a thriving center of commerce, with a bustling port and a diverse population of traders, merchants, and craftsmen. Pompeii was known for its beautiful villas, elegant public buildings, and ornate temples, many of which were decorated with frescoes and mosaics. The city was also home to a number of public spaces, such as the amphitheater and the forum, where citizens gathered for entertainment, political discussions, and religious ceremonies. Pompeii was a vibrant and cosmopolitan city, with residents from all walks of life, including wealthy aristocrats, slaves, and freedmen. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79 had a profound impact on Pompeii, burying the city under a thick layer of ash and pumice and preserving it for centuries. The disaster destroyed homes, shops, and public buildings, and claimed the lives of thousands of residents. In the centuries that followed, the city was largely forgotten, and its ruins were slowly buried beneath layers of soil and debris. It was not until the 18th century that Pompeii was rediscovered and its ruins began to be excavated. Today, the site of Pompeii offers a fascinating glimpse into daily life in ancient Rome, and has provided valuable insights into the culture, art, and technology of the time. The disaster that destroyed Pompeii changed the city forever, but also helped to preserve it for future generations to discover and appreciate. How were the people of Pompeii able to preserve their way of life, culture, and art, despite the devastation of the eruption? The people of Pompeii were unable to preserve their way of life, culture, and art in the aftermath of the eruption, as the city was buried under several feet of volcanic ash and pumice. However, the disaster had an unintended consequence: it helped to preserve the city and its artifacts for centuries. The thick layer of ash and pumice that covered Pompeii acted as a natural time capsule, protecting the city and its treasures from the elements and from human intervention. As a result, the ruins of Pompeii offer a unique window into daily life in ancient Rome, with intact buildings, frescoes, mosaics, and even preserved food and clothing. The city's art, architecture, and technology were also preserved, providing a valuable record of ancient Roman culture and society. For example, the frescoes and mosaics that decorated the walls and floors of Pompeii's public and private buildings offer a glimpse into the art and design of the time, while the city's water supply system and other infrastructure provide insights into the technology and engineering of the era. The preservation of Pompeii was largely accidental, but it has allowed us to gain a deeper understanding of ancient Rome and the people who lived there. Despite the tragedy of the eruption, the city of Pompeii has left an enduring legacy, and has become one of the most important archaeological sites in the world. What do the archaeological discoveries of Pompeii tell us about ancient Roman society, such as their beliefs, customs, and technology? The archaeological discoveries of Pompeii have provided a wealth of information about ancient Roman society, offering insights into their beliefs, customs, and technology. One of the most striking features of Pompeii is the vast array of artwork and decorative elements found throughout the city. The frescoes, mosaics, and sculptures that decorated public and private buildings offer a glimpse into the religious beliefs, values, and aesthetic sensibilities of the time. For example, the city's numerous temples and shrines suggest a deep reverence for the gods and goddesses of the Roman pantheon, while the elaborate frescoes and mosaics depict scenes of daily life, mythological stories, and other themes that were important to the people of the time. The ruins of Pompeii have also provided valuable information about the daily lives of ancient Romans, including their customs, habits, and social structures. For example, the city's public spaces, such as the Forum and the amphitheater, offer insights into the political and social life of the city, while the numerous shops and taverns reveal the importance of commerce and leisure activities in the culture of the time. The preserved food and household items found in Pompeii's homes and shops offer glimpses into the daily routines and household practices of ancient Roman families. Finally, the archaeological discoveries of Pompeii have also provided insights into the technology and engineering of the ancient world. The city's well-preserved water supply system, for example, demonstrates the ingenuity and sophistication of Roman engineering, while the numerous examples of ancient Roman building techniques and materials provide a valuable record of construction practices from the era. Overall, the archaeological discoveries of Pompeii offer a unique and valuable window into ancient Roman society, providing a wealth of information about their beliefs, customs, and technology. How did the eruption of Mount Vesuvius impact the surrounding region, including the Bay of Naples, and what was the aftermath of the disaster? The eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79 had a profound impact on the surrounding region, including the Bay of Naples and the cities of Pompeii, Herculaneum, and Stabii. The initial phase of the eruption sent a towering column of ash and pumice into the sky, which then collapsed and flowed down the slopes of the volcano in a fast-moving pyroclastic surge. This surge engulfed the cities of Herculaneum and Stabii, burying them in up to 20 meters, 65 feet, of ash and volcanic debris. In Pompeii, the eruption was less violent, with ash and pumice falling from the sky for several hours before the final phase of the eruption buried the city in up to 6 meters, 20 feet, of ash and debris. The aftermath of the disaster was catastrophic, with thousands of people killed and the landscape transformed by the volcanic activity. The towns and cities surrounding Vesuvius were largely destroyed, and the Bay of Naples was filled with ash and volcanic debris. The ash and pumice also caused widespread damage to crops and livestock, leading to food shortages and famine in the region. In the centuries that followed, the region around Vesuvius was gradually resettled, and the memory of the disaster was passed down through generations. However, the exact location of Pompeii was lost, and the city was largely forgotten until its rediscovery in the 18th century. Today, the legacy of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius lives on, with the ruins of Pompeii, Herculaneum, and Stabii serving as a poignant reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life. The region around Vesuvius remains an active volcanic zone, with millions of people living in the shadow of the volcano and facing the ongoing risk of another catastrophic eruption. How has the story of Pompeii captured the imagination of people throughout history, including writers, artists, and filmmakers? The story of Pompeii and its tragic destruction has captured the imagination of people throughout history, inspiring writers, artists, and filmmakers to bring the city back to life and explore its legacy. In the centuries following the eruption, the city was largely forgotten, with only local people aware of its existence. It was not until the 18th century that Pompeii was rediscovered by archaeologists, sparking a renewed interest in the city and its story. Since then, Pompeii has become a symbol of the power of nature, the fragility of human life, and the enduring legacy of the ancient world. Writers such as Mark Twain, Edward Bulwer-Lytton, and Robert Harris have been inspired by the city, using it as a backdrop for their works of fiction. Artists have also been drawn to Pompeii, with the ruins of the city serving as a rich source of inspiration for painters, sculptors, and photographers. The city has been captured in countless artworks, from the 18th century paintings of Piranesi to the contemporary photographs of Conrad Hofer. Finally, filmmakers have also been captivated by the story of Pompeii, using it as a setting for numerous films and television shows. Some of the most famous films set in Pompeii include the silent film The Last Days of Pompeii, 1926, the epic disaster movie Pompeii, 2014, and the TV series Pompeii, The Last Day, 2003. Overall, the story of Pompeii continues to inspire and captivate people today, and its legacy is likely to endure for many centuries to come. What lessons can we learn from the tragedy of Pompeii, and how have these lessons influenced modern-day disaster preparedness and response? The tragedy of Pompeii serves as a reminder of the unpredictable power of nature and the need for effective disaster preparedness. How has the ongoing study of Pompeii and the ancient Roman world contributed to our understanding of history, culture, and society? The ongoing study of Pompeii and the ancient Roman world has contributed significantly to our understanding of history, culture, and society. Here are a few ways. 1. Insights into daily life. Pompeii and other ancient Roman cities provide a window into the daily life of people living 2,000 years ago. By examining their homes, public spaces, and personal belongings, archaeologists have been able to reconstruct the social, economic, and cultural life of the ancient Romans. 2. Art and architecture. Pompeii and other ancient Roman sites are also important for the study of art and architecture. The art and architecture of ancient Rome influenced subsequent periods of art history, and the preservation of these sites allows us to study them in detail. 3. Political and military history. Pompeii and other ancient Roman sites have also provided important insights into political and military history. For example, the ruins of Pompeii show evidence of the Roman army's presence in the city and the political and social structures that existed at the time. 4. Social and economic history. The study of Pompeii and other ancient Roman sites has also contributed to our understanding of social and economic history. Archaeological evidence shows how the ancient Romans conducted trade, managed their economy, and interacted with other cultures. Overall, the study of Pompeii and the ancient Roman world provides a valuable insight into the history, culture, and society of a fascinating period in human history. It is an ongoing reminder of the importance of preserving our cultural heritage for future generations. What were the social and economic conditions of Pompeii prior to the eruption, and how did these factors impact the city's ability to recover from the disaster? Pompeii was a thriving ancient Roman city with a population of around 20,000 people at the time of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79. The city was located in a strategic position for trade, as it was situated on the Bay of Naples and was an important hub for commerce. In terms of social conditions, Pompeii was a diverse city, with a mix of people from different ethnic and social backgrounds. It had a significant number of wealthy citizens, who lived in large houses with beautiful gardens and decorations, but it also had a large population of poorer residents, who lived in smaller homes and struggled to make a living. Economically, Pompeii was heavily dependent on trade and agriculture. The city's fertile soil and access to water allowed it to produce large quantities of crops such as grapes, olives, and grain. These crops were then traded with other cities in the region and beyond. Pompeii also had a thriving market and was known for producing high-quality goods, such as textiles and pottery. However, despite its wealth and importance, Pompeii was not well prepared for the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. The city lacked a proper warning system, and many of its buildings were not built to withstand earthquakes or other natural disasters. This made it difficult for the city to recover from the eruption, as many of its structures were damaged or destroyed. In addition, the eruption had a significant impact on the local economy. Many of the city's crops and infrastructure were destroyed, and trade routes were disrupted. The city's location near the coast also made it vulnerable to attacks from pirates and other raiders, further hampering its recovery. Overall, while Pompeii was a prosperous city before the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, its social and economic conditions, as well as its lack of preparation for disasters, made it difficult for the city to recover from the devastating impact of the volcanic eruption. How did the eruption of Mount Vesuvius impact the wider Roman Empire, and what were the political and cultural consequences of the disaster? The eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79 had significant impacts on the wider Roman Empire, both in the immediate aftermath and in the long term. One of the most immediate impacts of the eruption was the loss of life and property in Pompeii and the surrounding areas. The exact number of casualties is unknown, but it is estimated that thousands of people were killed or injured, and many more were left homeless. In addition to the human toll, the eruption also had significant economic consequences. Pompeii was an important center for trade and commerce, and the destruction of the city had a ripple effect throughout the region. The loss of crops, infrastructure, and trade routes had a significant impact on the local and regional economies. The eruption also had political consequences, as it occurred during the reign of the Roman Emperor Titus. In the aftermath of the disaster, Titus declared a state of emergency and launched a relief effort to help the survivors. This response helped to boost Titus' popularity and cemented his reputation as a compassionate and effective ruler. In the long term, the disaster at Pompeii had cultural consequences as well. The city was buried under ash and pumice for centuries, preserving its buildings, art, and artifacts in remarkable detail. When the site was rediscovered in the 18th century, it sparked renewed interest in ancient Roman culture and inspired a new wave of archaeological exploration. Today, Pompeii is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a popular tourist destination. The site continues to yield new insights into ancient Roman life and culture, and the disaster at Pompeii remains one of the most significant volcanic eruptions in human history. What are some of the most significant archaeological discoveries that have been made in Pompeii, and how have these findings expanded our understanding of ancient Roman civilization? Pompeii has yielded numerous significant archaeological discoveries that have greatly expanded our understanding of ancient Roman civilization. One of the most important findings is the remarkably well-preserved state of the city's buildings, streets, and public spaces. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius buried Pompeii under layers of ash and pumice, effectively freezing the city in time. As a result, Pompeii provides a unique window into the daily life and culture of ancient Rome. Among the most significant archaeological discoveries in Pompeii are the preserved frescoes, mosaics, and other works of art that adorn the city's buildings. These art pieces offer insight into the tastes and aesthetics of ancient Romans, as well as the themes and stories that were important to them. Another important discovery is the many inscriptions and graffiti found throughout the city. These often provide glimpses into the daily life and concerns of ordinary people, such as advertisements for gladiator games or notes left by merchants. Pompeii has also yielded important insights into ancient Roman technology and engineering. For example, the city's plumbing system was remarkably advanced for its time, and included public fountains and baths. Perhaps most importantly, the archaeological discoveries at Pompeii have challenged many of our assumptions about ancient Roman society. For example, The city's preserved brothels and erotic art suggest that attitudes towards sexuality in ancient Rome were more complex than previously believed. Similarly, the discovery of a large number of household shrines has prompted scholars to re-evaluate the role of religion in ancient Roman life. Overall, the discoveries at Pompeii continue to offer new insights into ancient Roman civilization and have helped to reshape our understanding of this fascinating period in history. How has our understanding of Pompeii and the eruption of Mount Vesuvius changed over time, and what new research and discoveries are currently underway? Our understanding of Pompeii and the eruption of Mount Vesuvius has evolved significantly over time, as new discoveries and scientific methods have shed new light on this tragic event. For example, early explorers of Pompeii in the 18th and 19th centuries were more focused on uncovering valuable artifacts and works of art than on understanding the broader social and cultural context of the city. As a result, many important discoveries were lost or damaged due to careless excavation techniques. In the 20th century, however, scholars began to take a more interdisciplinary approach to the study of Pompeii, incorporating new methods from fields such as archaeology, geology, and anthropology. This has allowed us to gain a more nuanced understanding of the city and the eruption that destroyed it. In recent years, new discoveries and research have continued to expand our understanding of Pompeii and the ancient Roman world. For example, in 2018, archaeologists uncovered an extraordinary fresco depicting the mythological scene of Leda and the Swan, which was hailed as one of the most significant discoveries at Pompeii in decades. Meanwhile, advances in scientific methods have allowed researchers to analyze the remains of Pompeii's residents in greater detail, providing new insights into the health, diet, and genetic makeup of ancient Romans. Similarly, new technologies such as LIDAR have helped to create more accurate and detailed maps of Pompeii's ruins, allowing scholars to better understand the layout and organization of the ancient city. Overall, ongoing research and discoveries at Pompeii continue to expand our understanding of this remarkable ancient city and its place in history.